What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode now of the My Player Career Mode. Today we have episode 81 for you guys to feast your eyes upon. As you can tell, this is actually post-com and not live-com, unfortunately, but we've still got a really interesting episode, in my opinion, for you guys to feast your eyes upon today. So, as you can probably tell by the title, we have, in fact, picked up our first ever red card of our career, and it is to come in today's episode. I am both kind of not necessarily bothered about it, but you know, to go 80 or something episodes, which in total has had over 150 or 200 games, and not pick up a red card, in my opinion, is pretty good. And in my humble opinion, what I will say is that the challenge we get the red card for later on in today's episode, in my opinion, I wouldn't personally have said it was a red card fully. I mean, I've seen referees give it, I've seen referees not give it. You'll have to wait and see what happens with the challenge. But today, first, guys, we've got a game coming up against Real Sociedad here. Now, this one was going to be interesting because our personal form right now is somewhat kind of dipped compared to how we started here at Real Madrid. If you remember way back, we came here, we started off absolutely wonderfully. We were on fire, banging them in left, right, and centre. Recent episodes, we've kind of hit a dip in form in the sense of comparing it to our first bit of form to now isn't up to scratch. So I do kind of want to really improve on that if we can in today's episode, and we'll see what happens. Of course, we've got the red card to come, so it means that we haven't improved in that sense. But still, we may grab a couple of goals before that in fact happens. So we kicked the episode off here against Sociedad, and 2 minutes in, we had our first chance of the game. Martial, nice hold-up play from him, gives the ball back to me here. I eventually get the ball back inside. I aimed for Anthony Martial. In the end, it went all the way across, and I think it was Asensio in the end with a strike before it was blocked out for a corner. From the resulting corner then, I asked for this to be played short. I did this on a regular occasion because the defenders never pick this one up. Whip the ball into the area. Nobody wins it on the first attempt, but then it falls back once again to Asensio, who then smashes his volley over the crossbar and wide as well. So, in terms of the start to this game, not really the greatest of starts for shooting boots for Asensio so far, but hopefully it improves as we move into the next highlight here. 32 minutes on the clock. Made the run down the left-hand side. I decided I was going to take the strike on. You can see there's no support at the moment in this situation, so I had no other option than to try and fire it into the top right-hand corner of the goal, but unfortunately couldn't quite keep the effort down. It was very, very close, actually, to finding that top corner. You can see only a few inches lower, that was going in top bins, but unfortunately it did go over the crossbar. But again, had no support, had no other option than to take that strike on, in my opinion, so I did that anyways. And then for some reason, I'm on the most long-distance free kicks there are. Eventually, run it straight through, give the ball away cheaply here. We're on all-out attack. Completely my fault. The defender, nowhere to be seen. The striker's running through one-on-one with Thibaut Courtois, and I thought we were going to end up going 1-0 down here, but a wonderful save from the big Belgium. It's so hard when it comes to that situation, bearing down on goal, and you've got him to try and beat as a striker. It's so difficult to do. So the fact that he made that save there was vital to us, because as you can see in the game, it was a very poor affair of kind of chances for both sides, and that could have won the game. We could have been coming away from that with our second defeat and picking up 0 points from the start of the episode. So credit Courtois there. Without that save, he would have he's basically been the hero there. So I'm very happy to say that we didn't make the mistake that cost us the game in that sense. We could have done, but we didn't. So that's always a good way to go in football. And then as we moved into the second game of today's episode, guys, we took on Sevilla Atletico, one of the coolest names I've seen for a very, very long time, taking both, of course, Sevilla and Atletico's name and implement it into one. I think they were promoted from the lower league. I'm going to guess so because I'm pretty sure they're not playing a Liga Santander football as of right now. But maybe you guys can let me know in the comments because I don't really watch too much Spanish football. But they have a really cool name. And we're taking them on here at home at the Santiago Bernabeu. As you can see by the league table, currently sat 13 points clear of second place Villarreal. So we're doing pretty damn well for ourselves. So even though my personal form has kind of dipped, in that sense, we've had a really, really good run of results in terms of our team performance. But as you can see, the best home record, of course, with us being top of the table, we have currently got the best home record in the division. And one thing to note as well, guys, Odegaard does in fact start this game. I haven't seen him too much in terms of this year's FIFA, of people picking him up, because of course he was spouted to be one of the world's, promising wonder kids. Not really seen him too much in this FIFA in terms of people picking him up for their career modes. Maybe I'll have to look into signing him. But he does start for us here today. That is the Sevilla Atletico lineup that they've currently got for themselves. And I can confirm, guys, this is the game where we do, unfortunately, pick up our red card. You'll have to see it in just a moment's time. So I was both frustrated with myself, but then you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. But you can see we're looking to get ourselves off to a good start here, and we ended up getting the first chance of the game as well inside the first 5 minutes. A tackle on the edge of the area means that we pick ourselves up a free kick, and at this stage, I should have realised that the referee was going to be so critical and very easy to hand out cards. And so, in hindsight, looking back at what I did, shouldn't have done it. But you can see, I mean, was that yellow card? It's 5 minutes into the game. It's the first challenge pretty much. Personally speaking, I wouldn't have booked that. But you can see from the free kick, we are currently stood over it, trying to line it up into that top bins. Hit the wall first time, hit the wall second time. We get a third bite of the cherry as we cross the ball into the area, and the keeper simply catches that one on there. So, frustrating way to start the episode off. But then, disaster struck. There you go. I'm not sure why I did it. I think it was more frustration because the game wasn't going my way, and it took 41 minutes, and I hadn't had a highlight or anything to show you guys. And then I made the tackle, and you can say it was a stupid tackle to make, but we're on the edge of the, or just the edge of the D, inside Atletico Sevilla's half, or Sevilla Atletico's half, and I wouldn't have said that's a red card, but, you know, it depends on the referee, I guess. And so we picked ourselves up our first red card of our entire career, which meant we were down to 10 men. We were at home for this one, and we could potentially be looking at our second defeat all season long. But Navas had something to say about it here as he makes a decent save there from Sevilla Atletico's first chance, really, of the entire affair. That was literally their first chance, and it could come back. The fact that they could have one shot and end up scoring the goal, and we end up with a defeat here. So it was all be down to me here. And Navas, once again, was in fine form to deny them a second time. A wonderful cross into the area, met by a very decent volley, kept it low and hard, but it was straight pretty much at Navas, and he had to make the save there. So he did for us as well. So it seems like the goalkeepers this episode certainly got something to say for themselves. You know, Courtois saving the one-on-one last game that saved us a point from that one. And then, of course, Navas saving that one there to save us a point from this one. So I can say it's been a good point considering the fact that we were down to 10 men. But we were only down to 10 men because of my stupidity and my, I guess, attitude or my frustration showing the fact that nothing had happened and we were the worst side for the first 40 minutes. So I do get kind of frustrated sometimes when I play this My Player Career mode, and it showed there because we picked ourselves up our first red card. So I felt as though I had to apologise to the fans and had to apologise to other people in this one. So I've seen a couple of you guys asking for storylines. It's not really going to be a storyline in this one, but we are going to take to Twitter and apologise to the rest of the fans. So it's the first time I've ever tweeted during this series in terms of how we currently are. So I've created a Twitter account. Of course, it's just for our My Player. It's not anything to do with me. It's just purely for this series. So I decided after that game I would take to Twitter to apologise to all of the fans out there who, of course, have supported me and stuff. And you can see the assistant manager was not happy with the red card we picked up, having a massive go at me there, saying, "I'll make this clear." And there you go. We tweeted saying, "Oh, you all an apology after today. Simply no excuses for the tackle. I can have no complaints with the red card. Hello, Madrid." So, of course, we will miss the next game of the episode, and I was actually thinking it was going to be a 3-match ban, but unfortunately not. It's only a 1-match, or rather, fortunately not. It's only a 1-match ban. So, although it could have gone worse for us, you know, I'm hoping we'll get back into the form that I know we're capable of. As you can see, Sociedad is the opponent once again. This time it is in the Copa de España. Actually, was the first one in the Copa de España? Yeah, it was actually. The first one was the Copa de España as well. So, this is the second leg, guys. Potentially going to move through to the semi-final. Unfortunately, we are missing it due to that red card. And it actually is Morata who replaces me in the starting 11 for today's game. We took the lead in this one, I do believe, through Rodriguez, not James Rodriguez, the other one, at left back. And we ended up taking the lead in this one. Very, very good start. And then we went into the second half where Willian Jose, scored for Sociedad to make it 1-1. And just before the 90-minute whistle went, we ended up scoring a second, this time through James Rodriguez. So the Rodriguez's got ourselves off to a decent game there, and we ended up with the victory in that one. So we go through to the semi-final of the Copa de España, although I was not part of that second leg, the team that got us through there, so maybe I won't be starting that one semi-final. We'll have to wait and see what the manager reckons. But we were, in fact, back into the starting 11 as soon as we possibly could be against Las Palmas here. So as soon as we got back from that suspension, they threw us straight back in the starting 11. So obviously, they regard me very highly here, saying, you know, although it was my first red card, they gave me a stern telling off and basically said, don't ever do that again, effectively. But they didn't really punish me too much. I was expecting to maybe get some game time off because, all things considered, we are miles out in front. So it wouldn't have been tremendously bad for me to miss this game. But who knows? The manager may have dropped me in the future if I ever rack up another red card in quick succession. But you can see Las Palmas currently coming out on the pitch. Of course, if you haven't already watched it, I do have a Las Palmas career mode currently going on this channel. If you want to go ahead and watch it, it is on the channel, and we are currently top of the table in that one, so that's pretty good as well. So it's, I guess, mixed emotions here for me personally, considering the fact that I do have a Las Palmas save going on, and we're playing against them today for Real Madrid. But, of course, my loyalties lie here with Real Madrid, and that is the team that we, in fact, did have here for this game. In fact, I said in fact a lot there, so, yeah, if you're not... I'm just going to stop because that was just ridiculous. I said in fact like 4 times in the space of 5 minutes, or not even that. So, anyways, moving into this game, 5 minutes into it, we get ourselves the first highlight, of course, coming back from that suspension. I felt as though I had a point to prove in this one. Ran straight through the middle, nobody picked me up. missed the target. So to come back from suspension and then do that when I should be banging it into back of the net, not a good way to start this game off, to be honest with you. So I was kind of frustrated with myself, but I was saying to myself, you know, last time I got frustrated, I was sent off. Don't be doing that crap again. So 13 minutes on the clock. We won the header to flick it down here to our teammate, who goes out wide to Anthony Martial. Martial into the middle. There we are. And we get ourselves the first goal of the game. And it's our first goal back as well from suspension in our first game back as well. But I have to credit Anthony Martial because the cross was inch perfect straight to me in the, I guess, the near post. But a lot of time in this series, I've complained because the final ball of my teammates and stuff when they're crossing into the area is simply not good enough. That one there, inch perfect, straight to the near post where I was running, and we got ourselves back onto the track of scoring goals again. We've got a couple of games without a goal recently, so it's kind of nice to have that goal coming into play, and that made it our 18th league goal of the series as well. So in terms of that one, I can't really complain too much. You know, we're currently sat top of the table by a hefty margin of the top scorers currently, and also top of the table by a hefty margin in terms of league points. So in terms of how we're doing right now, I can have no complaints here as we went 2-0 up. This time it was from a rebounded effort from myself. Keeper palming it straight back into the path of, I think it was Hector Bellerin, as he ended up smashing it into the bottom corner there to make it 2-0 inside the first 30 minutes. And in all honesty, although our personal performance has kind of dipped, the team performance certainly hasn't. You know, the likes of how we could have lost the first 2 games of this episode could have been really bad for us. You know, Sociedad could have come away with a victory in the early part of the episode if it wasn't for Courtois. You know, Sevilla Atletico could come away with a victory from the last game before I was sent off, of course. And that was just shocking from me personally. But the fact that both our keepers on the day had something to say and deny them the opportunity, and then we got ourselves back to winning ways, was always good to see. And Las Palmas did actually have one chance before the end of the game, coming at the hands of, I think it was their striker or midfielder, but it was actually Clough. So he ended up striking it. It went wide of the post, so ultimately it did not matter here, as we did in fact end up going on to win this game by 2-0. The referee ended up bringing the game to a close, and as you can see, we move forward into another episode of fantastic results in terms of what we could have had and what we actually did get. So yeah, I can't really complain too much considering the fact that we were sent off and we still got a point. Earlier part of the episode, I made an absolute mistake, a howler of a mistake, and our keeper saved us. And then we came back and got ourselves a goal. So it's been a very, very weird episode in terms of that one. 2 mistakes from me personally, and then I kind of redeemed myself with a goal here at Las Palmas. But we'll see what happens as well. Hopefully the fans accept my apology. And that's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you've enjoyed this, I'd appreciate a like rating. As always, thank you for your continued support on the channel. You guys are all immense for everything you do for me and the channel. I appreciate it all. If you want to follow me on any social links, they are in the description below, as I've said numerous times before. But hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I will catch you all with another video from 6 PM UK time tonight. Don't miss it. It's going to be a blast. I'll see you all then. Adios.